Hello, we are back. We are chatting with Fern today, the founder of Dancing Lion Studio, and we're excited to introduce her to her community, a new partner. Oh, Fern, I see you're there. All right, if you want to send a request in, excuse me. Really, I'm very excited. All right, let's see if this is gonna work.
Hi.
Hi,
I'm
Fern.
always amazed
How
when
are
this works, right?
you? You know, you think it's the simplest thing in the
I know.
world, and it's more complicated
Well, here
always
we
than I
are,
expected
and
it to
I'm
be.
so glad to talk to you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Are
I
you in your
am.
beautiful
I'm
studio? I
I'm
see
in
some
my
gorgeous.
space. It is a really
Oh,
special space here in Delray Beach, Florida, which is actually is chilly down here today. Um, it's a beautiful space. It's a really inviting, warm, peaceful, calm. And this is a historic building in Delray Beach, Florida. Downtown, there are several marked
wow.
buildings that are historic. This was built, oh gosh, I want to say maybe in the 40s, 50s. It has a little bit of an Art Deco vibe
Yeah.
outside, and then it has almost like a mountain cabin feel inside with these beautiful high ceilings, a wood ceiling. You could probably see gorgeous.
I can see them. Absolutely. I love seeing studios outside of
Yeah.
New York City, especially because they're so tiny. They're beautiful here in the city,
Yes.
but they're
Yes.
tiny and tight and compact. And when we do these IG lives across the country, and there are these vast
Ah.
spaces, and I'm just like, oh, I
It's
breathe.
not
I
the
love
largest
looking at it.
space,
It's
but
beautiful.
I mean we could fit 50 yodis in here pretty reasonably. Ah, if it only would be.
Right, right, right. So I know you opened your studio just a few
Well,
years ago. Is that right? You
just
opened either
before the
during the
pandemic.
pandemic?
So July of 19, just as we were gearing up, the first 3 years in any business is always, and just as we were kind of making our
Yeah.
way in the community, it just died. It was devastating. So I came in here, I
Yeah.
would set up in the little corner. I didn't even know oh, Lynn, Linda, hi. I didn't even know what Zoom was. Um, I had no idea.
Right. None of us
And
did.
I bought
Yeah.
whatever I could buy. And fortunately, I had enough of a core following. Plus, I did my first teacher training in the studio on Zoom. We began. I had 16 women who've never, I mean, talk about a challenge. That's a whole other story. But we made it through, and I'm still here. So it's 3.5 years later.
Wow.
I am eternally grateful to my community, to my students. So much has gone on. I've learned so much. I never sought to be a studio owner. I accidentally got into this position. It was just
Yeah.
a happenstance, but yeah, here I am. And
And you're originally
so I was
from
going to
Queens,
say,
is
I
that
am a
right?
New York City girl.
Yeah,
I I grew up
I love it.
in Queens. I went to Bayside High School. I went to college in the city. I danced in New York City, and then just life circumstances. I ended up moving here in 1990. But I always say you could take the girl out
Yeah.
of New York, but you can't take New York out of the girl. So
Yeah.
I miss the city. I'm due for a trip. In fact, I was even thinking of doing a little retreat and meeting folks in the city and just doing a
Yeah.
city immersion, visiting other studios. So that's been in the
Yeah.
back of my mind. So um, I love New
I
York
love,
City. I
I
love New
love.
York City.
Well,
Yeah,
Florida
kind of
and
the
New
same.
York, we're basically neighbors. I
Especially,
mean, it's our
yeah,
backyard.
especially the East
Consider it
Coast
part of
where
New
I
York.
am. So I'm right, if you've heard of Boca Raton, Delray Beach, I live in Boca. Delray Beach is where my studio is. So they're sister cities. We're about an hour from Miami, which is south. About 3 hours north is Orlando. So
Yeah.
we're in a beautiful part of the world
Yeah.
here. So I love living here, but I miss New York. I miss
Yeah.
the.
We'll swap. I'll
All
go stay in
right.
Florida. You can stay in New York City, and we can each
I
get
will
together
say one of the
together.
silver linings of COVID and all is I reconnected with some folks from high school and school who actually Zoom in and take my classes now because some of their studios closed,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So we still have that relationship, which is really nice. Yeah.
I love that. And you've been busy. You taught
I
at the Sedona
did
Yoga
last
Festival. Was it
June.
last
I
year?
did.
Yeah.
So I
What
was
was that
invited
like?
to be one of their featured presenters, and it was really beautiful to me. I love the felt experience of yoga. That we can get into a little bit, but it was nice to be. It was really the first time back in a group, after the pandemic. I got to meet some really amazing teachers and really amazing people. So it was nice to kind of bring the show on the road. And I'm looking to do more work and festivals coming this year. I have some things in the works as well as I lead teacher trainings. So
Yeah.
lots of stuff.
So you go from
I,
you go from
I
beautiful
try.
location to beautiful location, from Florida to
I
Sedona. Do you have any retreats coming up that are
Well, I'm
anywhere other than New
working
York
on
or
a
anywhere
few.
that you're excited
So
about?
there's going to be first stateside
Yeah.
and then hopefully overseas. So I'm looking to add that to the mix come the fall and winter of this year. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that's in the mix. And right now, I am going to be launching our inaugural 300-hour training. So this is an advanced training that has
Yeah.
been in the works for me for a long time. I've done two 200-hour trainings,
Mhm.
two 300-hour trainings. I am a learning junkie. I feel
Yeah.
like, if I'm going to lead, I must continue to learn. And that's really important to me.
Yeah.
This 300-hour training is pretty unique. It contains things that I felt were missing in everything that I've done. And it's not just for the vinyasa
Mm.
teacher, it's not just for the yin teacher, it's not just for the meditation or chair yoga teacher. Anybody who either teaches or wants to use this as a way to deepen their studies can take this program. It's super, super interesting. So if anybody wants information, I can share that. It can be done virtually anywhere in the world. Actually, I have a young lady
That's
who's a professional dancer. She did my 200-hour yin training. She's now going to be joining me from New York for the 300-hour program. So that's, yeah, that's the
and I
beauty
love it.
of, that the world has kind of opened in ways that I would never have thought of before. And it has made me a better
Yeah.
teacher in that it
Mm.
takes a little bit of nuance to connect to someone like this. How can I make somebody
Yeah.
feel embodied in their practice through the screen? And how can I also have a teacher learn the tools this way? So I feel pretty confident that I figured that out,
Mm.
which is really nice. It's really nice.
Yeah. And I love that you mentioned the fact that, a yoga teacher training can be for
Mm-hmm.
someone that's just interested in getting their personal practice and their personal relationship. It's not necessarily to
So
teach.
that's a
It can be,
big deal
obviously.
to
It's
me.
great.
There's another student of mine that may teach down the road. She's still in corporate world. She did my 200-hour yin restorative. So I have a specific 200-hour just for yin and restorative, and now wants to deepen her studies. Um, I always say the 200 hours is like a buffet. It's like a smorgasbord of tastings.
Right.
You get a little bit of philosophy, a little bit of cueing, a little bit of sequencing, but it's just a taste. And you really get to really figure out what matters to you. And then some people go on and teach and they want to learn more, or some people really just want to learn for themselves. So we do delve deeper into philosophy, delve deep into Ayurvedic studies, I'm a certified yoga nidra teacher. I spend a lot of time on how to really teach a quality meditation, rather than just presuming you know how, like what goes on in the mind. Of course, there is deep discussion about anatomy. It is trauma informed, and the way I look at it is everybody that walks into my studio has had trauma. So that's a whole other little part of the way I teach. Being mindful of cueing. The way I was taught to cue years ago is not the same today. In fact, I do a workshop called Do Themes and Cues Give You the Blues? It's for teachers because some of the things that we used to say may really not be appropriate nowadays. And that's, again, another little discussion. So I talk about that in my training. And I give my teachers the chance there's a lot of mentorship, but they also have the opportunity to put together a workshop on their, platform of choice. And I let them offer it here to the public, which is very cool.
I got nervous just hearing that. I'm like, how exciting and how nerve-wracking.
It's optional that they can do it to the public, but it's mandatory they do it. So, but it's nice if they've never, had a public offering like that. So let's say they want to do something like the use of props, or how to use the yamas and the niyamas in their practice, anything that they're inclined to want to work towards. Then I work to them on what the elements of a workshop are, because sometimes you don't even realize. I minimize the content because usually it's too much content. And we go through some workings, and then I help them offer something to the public, which they love. That's amazing, right? Yeah. So that's part of the 300-hour training as well. So it's super cool. I'm excited. I've done many 200 hours. This is the first 300 here. And I'm going to use it to launch into different things. I've got a nonprofit that I'm going to be launching called Taking It to the Mat, which I'm going to be working with people who have had diagnosis like breast cancer or any kind of crisis. Many people that are diagnosed with things don't know how to deal with the overwhelm and the grief and the magnitude of it. And I am fortunate. I will share something personal. Yeah. Just 12 weeks ago, I had breast cancer surgery. And fortunately, I was cured per se, but I still have a bit of a journey of treatment. And I am living proof, not only can you thrive, but you can live and you can go on living. But I am bringing this to the national level, not just for cancer, because a lot of people get scared of that word. Right. But we all go through some crises or another, whether it's relationships or whether it's moving or loss. And I am here to tell you that the tools of yoga help. I am a living proof. So I share that personal note. Not that I haven't had moments of freak out. There is no bypassing that happens, right? It's like, what? Right. I eat healthy, was vegan, here I'm a yogi, but if it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. Yeah. And, maybe it's put in my path. Maybe this is just another avenue. So I'll be sharing that. My community knows I have the greatest community. So I've been given opportunities to go down that route. I'm in a really creative space in my life and a place of abundance. Yeah. And in my studio, I love to collaborate. We have lots of people that come in here and also want to do more online collaboration with wonderful folks. I love the use of meditation and rest. That has really helped me. My New York energy has never left. So, so being a yin and meditation teacher is like teaching to the, like I needed that myself. And I think a lot of us really
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to learn how to rest, learn how to come out of our
yeah.
fight, flight response and use the tools of yoga. So this is a lot that I'm doing. And I want to say that I've been watching what you're doing. I did share with you, I published two magazines back in the day. One was like a health wellness home magazine. I interviewed Cindy Crawford, the HD TV Dream Home. It was how to bring wellness into the
Yeah,
home. And then I had another All About You, which was
right,
fitness and wellness. And then there was the
right.
recession of '08. So that kind of so I sold the ads, I wrote, I published, so I know exactly,
Yeah.
I know what
You
you're
know.
doing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are great. I have to collaborate. I know what they're doing. So you're doing a great job. I just want to share
Yeah.
that.
Thank you so much. And
Oh,
I mean it's work. It's a lot of work. And when you love what you
I
do, like as you
do.
clearly
I
love what you
do.
do, it makes it easier, but it's always a reminder that you still need your
Yes.
rest. It is still work
Yes.
to take care of your body. And I'm
Yeah.
curious, because you were a dancer. I don't know
Yes.
if you still dance, but that's how you started. Have you noticed your personal practice
So
changing over the years? Like when you were dancing, was it
it's
different
funny you
to
asked
what it is
that.
now?
I started in the fitness and wellness field when I was 3 years old. So without giving away my age, it's a lot of years.
Right.
It's a lot of years. And when I moved down here, I was
Yeah.
a personal trainer. I taught
Yeah.
aerobics. I taught step aerobics. Um,
Yeah.
I did it all. And down here, I was teaching
Yeah.
tap dancing to people in country clubs in Boca Raton, Florida. It's hilarious.
I
It's
love
hilarious.
it.
Actually, I
I
was doing
love it.
that up
Yeah.
until COVID. And then through my
Yeah.
journey, I became a yogi, and
Mm.
everything I have done fits yoga. Everything.
Mm.
I have
Mm.
the
Yeah.
physical movement, the meditative quality, which if you've ever studied with me, my teaching is not
Mm.
just the asana. The studio is not, I mean,
Mm.
obviously asana is important, but it's a work in. We very much bring the spiritual practice. We very much bring mindfulness. And to come around to your question, dance includes that too. It's all a mind body
Mm.
practice.
Mm.
So I try to keep my
Yeah.
practice daily. If I don't, I teach off the mat,
Yeah.
so usually I'm not practicing on, but I will come into this space and I was just practicing before on my own. And that might mean 10 minutes of just breathing and moving. That might mean incorporating a little bit
Mm.
of modern with my yoga. Now that's interesting. Or that might be
Yeah.
sitting and doing a yoga nidra meditation. All of that is yoga. And I
Yeah.
incorporate that in everything I teach. Um, so, yeah, I do love dance. I studied with Martha Graham. I studied tap dancing. I did theater in New York. Um, but my heart is here. I wake up every day. You know, I don't define myself as a studio owner. I always check in with that. This owning a
Mm.
studio is not for the
Yeah.
faint of heart, nor will it make you riches.
Yeah.
So I'm
Right.
really at the point of my life where
Yeah.
if I ever woke up and said, I just don't want to do this anymore, like I would be okay. I can go and
Mm.
still have my career and still teach and still grow my platform.
Yeah.
Building community is amazing to me.
Yeah.
We do full moon events
Yeah.
here every month. Sometimes we do it outside my studio, sometimes at the hotel across the street. To see people come together, we
Yeah.
also donate money from that event. So it's a charity event. So I always check in and I say, good morning. Do I love what I'm doing? And I haven't yet even in COVID and even through all my trials, and I've never yet
Right.
said no. So
Wow. I
it's
love
a
that. I love that as
daily
a daily
practice.
practice to do. Yeah, no matter
Hmm.
what you do, and it takes a minute, if that,
So
like just to check
so
in. Do I love what I
there
do?
are
Yeah,
moments
I
where
love.
I literally, oh my gosh, do I have to post on
Yeah,
Instagram again? Oh my gosh, the teachers, and it's a lot. But I've
yeah,
never wavered. I'm at the point in my life where I have the luxury of kind of to choose. If I won the Powerball $1 billion lottery the other night, I would still do this.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't even
Yeah.
explain it. I come in whether the class is full, whether there are a few here. This is my life's purpose, my
Yeah.
sankalpa. This is my dream. I get to combine everything I've ever done in my life here and now. And I am blessed beyond measure. I show gratitude to my community every single day. Thank you so much for all you've done.
Yeah.
And I'm going to just continue.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue as long as they'll have me. And I obviously want to grow my platform, which is a big goal of mine, that I can include things. I'd like to collaborate more with people via Instagram. I love to collaborate with people. I've said that before. It's really important to me.
Yeah.
And, whatever I can share, I do the work every day. I study every day. I'm in a coaching program right now with Well Coaches. It's a very well-known coaching program, to be a board certified coach, to just add to my tool house, my wheelhouse. I don't know, whatever that word is. So when I do group privates or work with people, I take the tools of yoga, I take the tools of coaching, I take the tools of all my life's experience so that I can help people along their journey. And that is, I kid you not, it sounds so corny. I know this comes across that way, but I
Not at
am
all.
so blessed. I've been in the field for over 40 years, my whole life, my whole life.
Yeah.
And I'm in a place
Yeah.
where, if I can help one person end their suffering, that's what yoga is to use the tools to manage the fluctuations of our mind so that we end our own suffering, that we can ride the waves of changes of life, move the body a little bit, breathe.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much better than that. It's
And not only that, when we help ourselves, we're helping the next generation and our community and our family, and that just it ripples all the way through. And how, it's selfishly,
yeah.
yes, I'm fixing myself, but I'm also
Mm-hmm.
helping everyone around me, giving them a better
And
experience. And
having you
how
mentioned that,
beautiful is that?
I raised a yogi. I have a daughter who is a personal trainer
Yeah.
and a yoga teacher. She teaches here with me.
Wow.
Um, so
Yeah.
something must have worked.
Right.
Something in that whole parenting thing
Yeah.
must have worked. She's a great, great, great young lady. But
Yeah.
I know that something about this practice does a body good, does a mind good. And I've studied with great teachers. And I'm just going to keep sharing it. I'm just going to keep doing it. And
Yeah.
as I said, getting to work with people like you and those others who are, collaborating with one another, I'm here for it. I love to uplift other people. I'm all about abundance in that way. So, wow.
I love
I,
it. I love it. Is there anything that you want to share before we wrap up? Just when those moments are a little
mm-hmm.
sticky or bumpy in life, what's
So,
your go-to? What's the
all
first
right.
thing that
So,
you do?
first of all, I'm all discombobulated. Okay. First of all,
First you fix yourself.
yeah. First of all, you're allowed to feel. And I know in yoga is a lot of, oh, just, love and light and feel happy. You know what? We're allowed to feel grief. We're allowed to feel overwhelmed. We're allowed to feel sadness. We're allowed to feel. The thing that gets sticky is that when we hold on past their expiration date, I always say feelings are like visitors, let them come and go,
Right.
So,
Yeah.
as a yogi, bringing yourself to the present with just taking a breath is always, we say that a lot, but truly is a ground, it's an anchor. And then I would offer the opportunity to sit with it. If you have a meditation practice, I love Yoga Nidra is one of my favorites. It brings you to a place of awareness where your mind and body sleep, but the Buddhi mind consciousness remains aware. And I use that a lot in my privates as well as for myself. In fact, I had COVID back in the day, pretty bad. And if it wasn't for my breath work and my Yoga Nidra and meditation, you can find yourself in the depths of despair sometimes. And then if you can move the body, right? And it doesn't have to be, a power vinyasa class, right? A simple moving with the breath, undulating the spine, maybe some cat-cows, just to become embodied. And also when we move the body, we move that stagnant energy. So if I can say anything is to get out of the mindset that it has to be a certain way. Yoga is very individual, and there's no two bodies that are the same, just like there's no two people that are the same. That's the way I teach. So give yourself grace in the tough times. If you need to reach out to someone, whether it be a spiritual healer or trainer or coach or friend that can help guide you in to help you feel grounded, do that. But I would say, start with the breath. Use that as an anchor because in this moment, usually you will find you're okay. In this moment, you are okay. Then you can use the tools of life to proceed. I would offer the opportunity to, if you're not a yogi, if you've never tried, find a studio. The name of our studio, Dancing Lion, it's interesting. Down here in Florida, this asana is called something different in every part of the world. But when you're on your hands and knees and you're moving to your intuition, here in Florida, we call this Dancing Lion pose. A lot of people call it that. So Dancing Lion pose, you get to close your eyes. You're just moving to the rhythm of your own breath. You're trusting your intuition. What does your body need? So the feeling it evokes is you get to show up just the way you are. So that's why I call my studio Dancing Lion Studio. It's a secret, actually. You get to show up just the way you are here. And we teach that way. So find a space that you can go, that you can feel like you belong if you're going through crises. A lot of people start yoga when they're going through a life crisis. And so
I've noticed that.
That's why I say when I teach trauma informed, what that means is that I presume everybody that walks in my space has had something, right? Whether it's just a fight with a spat with their beloved or something in their work, that's trauma in the body. It doesn't have to be a big T trauma. So when I spoke about how we cue and how we teach, the presumption is there that we want to speak to the people in our space in that way, so it can truly be a healing practice. Getting back to the thought that yoga is managing the fluctuations of the mind to end our suffering. And that's what Patanjali states in the Yoga Sutras, right? They just talk about the asanas a little bit. The presumption is, let us use this beautiful ancient tool for the modern yogi in a way that is going to be respectful to the teachings, which I truly hope I am, but also use it in a way in today's world. And a lot of us need to get out of our heads. A lot of us need to get out of our fight, flight response. We're revved up and we don't really know how. So that's my work every day. That's what I hope to achieve and how I really hope to that it resonates through me and my practices. And whew, I just said a lot.
And I love that. And I love everything you said, because especially allowing the feeling. I think that's really important. And it bears, for me, I need that reminder all the time. It's okay to maybe yell and scream and get it out and feel that emotion. But I think there's a little, I think people maybe get a little confused, like maybe I have to always be calm and stoic. No, you can feel that emotion. I mean, I love that you said that.
What is joy without grief? What is happiness without sadness? I mean, just like in our practice, we talk about finding balance not only in our breath, finding balance not only in our warrior pose, but finding balance in our minds. And we cannot experience the joy in life without the other side, nor can we really hold on to those beautiful, good feelings unless we've moved through them and felt them and moved through the others as well. Now, I will say to you, the human mind loves drama. I say this in my class all the time. So there is a physiological response to the drama. And if you notice, people love to say, oh, they love to complain. They get sucked into their drama. But what if you drew that same amount of attention daily over and over a long period of time, which is what the Yoga Sutras say, on the good? So while you're not detaching from the negative in your life, but you're retraining the way your mind sees the good so that your natural inclination is going to go to a place that is more holistic and healing. I always love that quote, you know, every cell in your body eavesdrops on your thoughts. So if you go further to that, we're all super conscious of what we eat, like organic and clean water, and, you know, super, super conscious of that. But what about the quality of our own thoughts? How toxic are they? And so underlying the yoga philosophy is this being able to be the seer of our thoughts without judgment, being able to understand when we go into any depths of sense of feeling, and again, the bad feelings are okay too, but then maybe having the tools by like using mantra, affirmations, we set intentions, that if we kind of keep going back to that, you know, watering that seed, that maybe that will be our prevailing thought. And that, go ahead.
And it's,
it's work.
Like you said, it is a practice.
You know, I always tell my students, especially in teacher trainings, I am no different than you, right? You know, a lot of times you have the teacher on a pedestal, and that's a whole other story in yoga. You know, this power differential. And I'm really mindful of continuing to do the work. That's why I do a lot of studies, a lot of trainings, so that I can really show up knowing that I've tried to experience as many things as my students so that I can have compassion and empathy, right? I may not have done it all, but, you know, that I can show up with compassion and empathy. And that's, you know, the best that I can do. But yes, there's no suggestion from me to ever bypass the difficult feelings, ever. But we don't want to get stuck there. And, you know, you learn what has weight.
And I think that what you said, you know, feel the emotion and then take a deep breath, you know, that's when you can kind of say, okay, I always call them temper tantrums. The temper tantrum is done, you know, that next step, You don't have to have a mantra. You could be
Anywhere.
any person. You could be anywhere in the world. And all you need is to
That's,
just take that breath, and that's the first step. And if you do that
yeah,
step,
that's what I
that's
mentioned
huge.
before. The
Right?
breath is like an anchor. It's been called that. And the way it anchors you is, you said you're having this temper tantrum, but if you really look at it in this moment, unless you're really in grave danger, and then a lot of things can happen to the mind, but in this moment, are you really okay? Right? It just boom brings you to that presence. And we talk a lot about that in yoga, and we really kind of just navigate breath by breath, moment by moment. And it is a tool that anybody can use. You're in your car in traffic. That's one of my pet peeves. Take a deep breath. I'm okay. I'm going to get there on time. And if I'm a little late, I don't mean to, but you kind of use these tools of yoga to rationalize if you're in danger, if you're not, how to navigate. And I will suggest to you, we are not born learning how to regulate our emotions. In fact, we are not. In fact, we know many adults that have a fifth grade emotional state, right? That never do the work. They fly off into a rage or whatever. So being on the path of a yogi is very humbling. Like, you sit back, you may have an argument with somebody, or somebody reflects back to you saying, you did this. Like, wow, I didn't realize I was coming off that way. I didn't realize that maybe I was reflecting back in a way that was probably not best. And yoga helps us do that too. It helps us. This is the path of enlightenment. It's not that you become this guru. You become enlightened as to who you are, to hopefully make the world a better place, and to just make your world a better place. So again, it comes back to that philosophy where it's the path of ending our suffering. I keep saying this. How can we use the breath, use the body, use the mind, meditation to balance the thoughts? We don't control anything. Nothing in our lives. We try, except our inner world. Really, we can try to make people do things. Believe me, I try all day long. And, you want to try to, you think the door is going to open for you and it doesn't. Like, all these things happen. And you try to have the best intentions, but we can help the way we react. If we're going to react in hurt, if we're going to react, oh, that is just a loss for me, instead of saying, hey, maybe that was not meant for me, maybe that door closed, but if I turned around, there's two more that I didn't see. Yeah. So these are the tools of yoga. I say the ancient tools for the modern yogi that I hope to do as long as I can. I hope to share as long as I can. It excites me. I love it.
It truly is. It's really, and I love that, then we can reclaim our power.
Exactly.
Sometimes we feel a little bit powerless in life, and these simple, I want to say simple, but they're not simple, yet
simple,
very
but not easy
tools. Yeah. Right. To put it,
yes.
Which we all have access to through teachers like you, through yoga studios, through our community. Thank goodness. And I love also one of the things when you mentioned your daughter as well, like there's things like kids yoga now, and I'm always so excited that kids, when they're so young now, get the opportunity to try these things, which I wish I had when I was younger.
Yoga, and it's so funny. I collaborated with a local restaurant. They were teaching them how to cook healthy, and then they would bring third graders in, and the teachers would come in with about 25 third graders, and they would say, good luck.
Yeah.
But I would get them to collaborate. We would do like a warrior three balance pose where they would hold on to each other and they would lie in Shavasana meditation, and the teachers would stand there like, what did you do? Because they want to feel like they can control their emotions. And in fact, they love breath work. I use something, it's called the Hoberman ball. It's this colorful ball that opens and closes. And if they're in the class and somebody's having a little bit of a tantrum, I would say, why don't you please sit and take deep breaths? And as soon as they sat down, their whole demeanor changed. They sat for just even 3 seconds to breathe. It was amazing. It was amazing. So, yes, if we can teach kids, wow, what a different world it could be. Huh.
Right.
So, wow, I am so grateful to
Fern.
be able to speak to you, and I cannot wait to see your next edition. And I share everything that you're doing now with my community, and I hope to be able to collaborate for a long, long time. If there's anything you ever need from me, let me know. Florida is now open. New York, Florida connection. So there you go.
Thank you, Fern. Thank you so much. We only exist because of partners like you that support our work. You know, I always say we're a little bit like public television, you know, it's through this support. And you know, you've done print magazines. It's you love it, and it's a beautiful process, and it's only possible because of these partnerships that we have. So thank you so much. And
we should do this again.
Honestly, this conversation. We'll do it again, and we'll talk more in depth about everything. If anyone's listening,
yes,
your teacher
so the
training
300-hour training, thank you for reminding, that starts the end of February. It's a super flexible program. It can be done in our studio or virtually. I have some really earth-shattering, groundbreaking ways to offer. This is for already certified teachers. It's an advanced training, but some really great opportunities. I offer some beautiful mentorship. And if you know any teacher that's looking to enhance, or anybody that really, even 200-hour teachers that have not even taught, that just want to know more, that have a thirst for all of this beautiful practice, I'd love to talk. Our website is dancinglionstudio.com. I have 2 Instagrams, this one, Fern L. Conn, and also our Dancing Lion Studio Instagram. You can check us out if you're in Florida. If you want to escape the cold, come on down, practice with us here. And that's it. I am thankful and grateful for this chance. I appreciate it.
Thank you for, and send me the link for those trainings, and we'll get it on our website as well. So that and I love that it's offered virtually.
Anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. We have people from all over the world. We just had a student in my class from Amsterdam, which was so crazy. I have a lot of students from New York as well. And so it's nice. You get to kind of collaborate. We have it set up here. So I have a big screen TV. You are here almost live with me. And I do a lot of different projects so that you feel part of and connected to the group. So thank you.
I love it.
You too.
Thank you, Fern. Have a great day, and it's on our account, and look forward to more collaboration soon. Take care.